Welcome to Sunshine Art and Drawing. Today I thought I would dedicate a video to my favourite DC character, which is Wonder Woman. As you can see, I have a bit of Wonder Woman stuff. I have the Blu-ray. This is probably my favourite DC movie, and to be honest, the only one they actually got right. I love this movie. I could watch it over and over and over, and a lot of the scenes even make me tear up a bit. It's really, really, really good. I would totally recommend it if you haven't seen it. It is M-rated, so it's not really for kids. But I wanted to show you some of the books I've got that either are Wonder Woman or feature Wonder Woman. So this is the first one I got, and I got this probably close to when the movie came out in the cinemas. This one was a bit damaged at the top, so half the pages kind of stuck together. And it is a kid's book, which is kind of a little bit annoying. I'm constantly looking for books that are not activity books. They are the worst and most annoying thing for kids. If they want a colouring in book, they'll buy a colouring in book. If they want an activity book, they'll buy an activity book. But when you combine them, you end up with these really terrible colouring in pictures. And I'll show you, see if I can find one that I've done. But as you can see, a lot of them are just, find a maze, so on and so forth. Colour in the robes, that sort of thing. I know it's kids sort of friendly, but I was looking for one which had some good Wonder Woman pictures. I can try not to hit my coffee, like this one here. And this is before I'd seen the movie, so I know the colouring that I coloured in may not have been perfect. But as you can see, it's just sort of pictures and things from the movie itself. I'm pretty sure this came out before the movie, so some of the pictures either are not related or, are from comics, which can be a little bit disappointing. But I did really like sort of the different pictures in here, and I'd done a couple of them. Some of the other ones that I was able to pick up, these ones are more DC Super Friends, DC kind of Justice League type books. I was looking for more Wonder Woman books, but this is sort of the only ones you can find. This one here is really, really a kid's book. Like, it's super cartoony, and it's the paint with water sort of type with the little patches. These do not work well. If you're buying these for your kids, I don't really recommend these weird patch paint by water ones, because I'll show you the last one that I did. I did it in the back so I wouldn't destroy the book. But as you can see, it's like really pale and turns out really badly. And then as you're using the squares at the top, or the stars at the top in this book, it goes through. So it like destroys through to like other pages. So it is kind of I don't recommend these ones with the weird patches. I've tried a couple of them and they all turn out the same. The colour is just not very dark, and it also sort of leaks through to the other pages, even though the paper's pretty thick. But this one has really cute, like cutesy kind of characters. So there's Aquaman and Batman and the Joker, and they're all kind of cartoony, which I think is quite cute. But there's Wonder Woman there. So that's why I picked this one up. I think it was like $1 or $2, so it wasn't a big deal. I also grabbed 2 Justice League ones. I was looking for a Justice League colouring in book, but all of them are activity books, and I think that's because they assume that Justice League is sort of aimed towards boys, and boys are probably not huge colour inners. I know that's a huge generalisation, and probably boys like colouring in as much as girls do. But that seems to be the sort of thought that they have. They didn't really get that, hey, Wonder Woman, huge female like characters, like they should really be releasing like books that are colouring in books or colouring in cross activity for the female viewers, for the people who like colouring in. But again, this is sort of the same sort of thing. So it's like activities that you can do that include all the characters like Batman and Superman and so on and so forth. But every now and again you get a little bit of Wonder Woman. There's one that's Wonder Woman, so on and so forth. But they are sort of cutesy like things that you can do if you like that kind of thing, like mazes and word finds and that sort of thing. I haven't done very much in this book just because there isn't really a lot that I really want to do. And it's the same for this one. This one's the cheaper one. So I think that this one was about $4 and this one was like the $2 version, but they're the same brand. This one's just a bit thicker. And this one here, I'm just going to quickly flick through. Same sort of idea. I think even some of the things are the same between the two books, like the same activities. A little bit disappointing, but I can understand if your parents just trying to buy a couple of them, they might want to buy the cheaper one so they can buy a few more. But same sort of idea. It's got like Wonder Woman and a few of those. And then I saw this book. This one here is amazing. I love this book. If you are looking for a Wonder Woman colouring in book, this one I would recommend. I'll just have a look and see who it's made. It's made by Insight Edition. And there you go, so you can see the ISBN and the company that makes it. This is actually licensed by DC. And this book contains a lot of drawings by the artists that did the comics. So instead of being like shots from the movie or something like that, let me just get that out the way, it's actually like drawings from the comic book series, which is really, really pretty. Let me just get around, there we go. So as you can see, I've done a few, but they are all like either comic book covers, like this one, they're drawings, like concept art and stuff like that. Like this one here, I'm just going to cover that. This one here is the first issue front cover, the entire thing. There is a little bit of nudity there. I will cover that with my hand. But yeah, so it's really, really beautiful. And back in the day when this was first produced, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But I kind of understand that there are some kids that watch this channel and I don't really want to show that bit. But it's really, really pretty. And as you can see, there's more covers, more concept art, and you get to see all the different iterations of Wonder Woman. So you've got the sort of the middle ones that they did, you've got the really early sort of 70s, 60s ones that they've done, which will be a bit further on. But yeah, so Justice League sort of symbolic stuff, and then you've got some more shots. Here's another Justice League one. But I just wanted to flick through. This one was one that I did as like a 3-colour sort of challenge type thing. Turned out kind of weird looking, but I kind of like the colours. And this one here is really, really beautiful. I sort of, out of all of the Wonder Womans, I probably like Finch as the artist the most, because he does Wonder Woman instead of a young woman kind of style, rather than making her look like a, maybe, you know, in her 30s or so. He draws her as if she's like 15, which I think is really pretty. It's kind of like when they did the new Tomb Raider, how they made Tomb Raider a lot younger, and that kind of made it a bit more interesting. And I think that's what Finch likes to do with this art, make her look a little bit younger, so it's a bit more sort of interesting of her emotions and things like that. And I have done a few of these. I tried to sort of like dog-ear the corners so I could find them easy, but I think I might just flick through the whole book. And here are the early ones, the Comic Cavalcade ones, where she's a bit 70s looking, she looks a little derpy, but that's because it was the very early drawings where they were much more interested in doing the male characters, and having female characters was sort of a bit rare, and if they were kind of damsel in distress type characters rather than being like a strong female lead. And it wasn't until sort of Wonder Woman came out as her own series that they started to realize that you could have a strong female character and she's not afraid, and she's willing to like jump into the fray, and she's not a damsel in distress. She doesn't have to be saved all the time. She can save herself. When I did this one, I did it in watercolour. That's why her skin is really dark. The watercolour came out a lot darker than I expected. But here's another one done by Finch. It's the one where she looks a lot younger. I think that's really, really pretty. And there's just sort of like a concept art type one. Another cover. I'm planning on probably colouring this one. I've marked it in blue, so we'll colour this one a little bit later, but I just wanted to flick through and show you some of the pages. There's also some pattern ones, which that's handy if you just want to do some mindless colouring. You can do some patterns. Let's get the Wonder Woman insignia on the side here. Pretty fun. And here is just another concept art type drawing where it's like drawing her from different sides, so you can see all the different sides, and that's really handy when you're drawing something for a comic. It is handy to draw from all the sides, because then if you're trying to draw an action scene, you need to draw it from behind, you know what you're going to draw from behind, that sort of thing. This one I really like. That's why I sort of spent a lot of time colouring this one. It's that sort of 70s look with a weird cone-shaped bra and things like that. But I kind of like it, and that's why I did it in funky 70s colours. But it is really pretty, kind of showing her her different sort of outfits and how she kind of keeps her identity secret. This one I really liked. Again, like, for some reason the watercolor that I'm using, the brown, the skin tone is really dark. So it does make her look a lot darker than I think she is, but it doesn't matter. I think she just looks a bit more tan in this one. But here's some shots from the actual comic books themselves, and this one's really, really pretty. It's very shaded, so when you would colour it in, I would go very light-handed so that like you can still see the shading through. It's really, really nice. And there's a shot from a comic book. This is another Finch drawing. I could have a whole book of Finch drawings. You can tell they're Finch drawings because he signs them. There's Finch there. And there's another pattern. That's a Finch, and that one's a Finch as well. But it's just the way he makes her look a lot younger, but still with real like strength and sort of power and passion. It's really, really nice. There's another one that I've coloured, and this one's from a cover from Superman. It looks like it's the Christmas episode. And they're all in the little baubles, which I think is cute. It's Wonder Woman and Superman. And here's another cover. And just a sort of concept art type drawing. Some more covers. There's a nice mandala made from her insignia. That's kind of cool. This one's really pretty. I'm not sure if that one's done by Finch. It is. It's done by Finch. It says it there. But yeah, that one's really interesting. Like, I've never seen her with the I guess it's a helmet of some kind, but it does have the Wonder Woman insignia, so it must be some part of her uniform that you just haven't seen. Or it may not be her. It could be her mother or something like that. I can't really tell, but it's really, really beautiful. And then the best part about this book is that at the end, they put a bunch of full colour shots from a lot of the pages from in here, and a couple of bonus pages that aren't in here. So as you can see, it's like literally this picture but in colour, so if you ever wanted to sit there and go back and forth and do the right colours, you could. You know, get Wonder Woman and all of those guys. And then as you can see, there's the comic cavalcade, that's hard to say, and the weird kind of derpy looking 70s one, or 60s it could be, I'm not sure. Wait, October, November? No, it doesn't have the year on it, just the date. And this is the one again with the slight nudity there, which I will cover, but that's that very first issue cover, so you get to see it in full colour, which is really beautiful. It's not really nudity, but she's wearing a little bit less. I have a feeling that this is the story of Wonder Woman. So you've got like, that's Ares, and that's, I can never pronounce her mother's name, Hippocrates or something like that. I'm probably saying it really wrong. I'm assuming that's Zeus. And then that's when she made the deal with Zeus to give her a child, and when she had the child was Wonder Woman. And that's kind of the story that you get from the beginning of the movie, that she tells Wonder Woman as a child. So, as you can see, it's not nude, but it's not kid-friendly either. And this one here is probably my favourite colour. I love how she's like, lasso of truth and things like that. I really like that. This one's funny as well. She's about to grab him, yeah. But these ones aren't in the colouring section. I'm not sure if these ones are Finch as well. I'll have a look. He does sign his work, so it should be here somewhere. I have a feeling this one was probably done on the computer because of the way that the lightning looks and things like that. That's really difficult to do on pen. That's usually done on a computer. This one here might be hand-drawn. But yeah, these two don't have... Yeah, they don't seem to have any sort of signature or anything on them, and I'm not sure who did these two artworks, but they're really, really pretty. There's another two. This one is probably my favourite out of the colour ones, because you've got Wonder Woman, Supergirl and Batgirl, and I would love to see a movie with these three. That would be the best movie ever. Just get rid of all the male characters and just do a movie with these three. It'd be perfect. And then you've got another computer drawn one, you can tell by the lasso, but this one's done by Terry. I'm probably not saying that name right. What does that say? Terry Dodson Rochelle Inc. I think this one was done by computer, and this one as well, like graphic art. I have no problem with people drawing on computer. I think you can get a lot of effects on computer that you can't get hand drawn, and that's this sort of this glowing effect that they get on some things. The computer can make this effect, so it makes it a lot easier if you're trying to draw something where you want it to glow slightly, the way that this looks. It might be something you need to do on the computer. And also this metallic shininess is kind of hard to do by hand. It's possible, but it's hard. To make something look metallically shiny is a bit difficult to do by hand. And then you've got these two, which are gorgeous. Not sure who that character is, but she's beautiful. And you got Wonder Woman, and she's stolen the lasso of truth and is strangling him with it. That's quite funny. And then you've got another one where she looks really young. I wonder if that's another Finch drawing. See, these colour ones, these full colour ones don't seem to be signed. I'm looking around for it because he usually hides it somewhere in there so it's not obvious. But yeah, I don't see it in either one of these. But I have a feeling this one might be either Finch drawn or like inspired by him because of how young he made Wonder Woman look. And then that's all of it. And I'm just going to read on the back. It says Wonder Woman was created by William Moulton Marsden. And this book is by Insight Editions. If you're looking for it. I found this one in a bookstore, but if you're looking for this book in particular, it is really, really good. I think there are other ones. I have seen this design with the sort of circular kind of motif on the front in a couple of other ones, and I think this is, yeah, the 75th Wonder Woman edition. That's in like it's 75 years of Wonder Woman. Sort of this kind of beautiful, beautiful book. And we're going to colour a picture from it, because why not? I've got some pencils here. Let's grab my little blue bit. And that should open up to this one. And I was planning on doing this one here. So I'm going to have some coffee out of my Wonder Woman mug. But totally recommend getting this. My god, it's a good movie. Probably the only one that DC has actually done successfully, which is sort of sad, you know. Zoom in a little bit there so we can see this page. So when you're doing Wonder Woman, easiest thing to remember is a lot of her uniform is gold and then it has red accents. So this head piece, although in the movies it's slightly different looking, it is gold, and then the little star in the center is red. Her chest piece, the top layer here, where the wings of the bird are, is gold, and then the chest, like the stomach and chest piece, is red. And her armbands, depending on what you're reading, they will either be silver or gold. In the new Wonder Woman, they're gold, with silver little insignias, but I have seen in older pictures they're silver. And I'm not really sure why. And then you get your lasso of truth. Her hair is going to be like a brown colour, and her skin tone. So the skin's probably going to be the hardest part to do, so I think I might leave the skin till last, and we'll do sort of the other colours. Let me get these pencils out, just so I'm not digging through trying to find colours, because all the colours are on the bottom of these pencils, makes it easier to see if I pull them out. So let's have a look and find a good red that we will do the little red parts with. What's this one? Red. Sounds good. Okay. So, I'm going to do her star in the center red. And the other part I like to do red is her lips, because I haven't seen a single picture of her without some decent dark red lipstick on. And if that's the only thing she carries in her makeup kit, that's probably a woman after my own heart, because I can't stand makeup. I don't wear very much at all. I have pretty sensitive skin, so makeup doesn't always work well for me. So I'll give her some red lips. I'll just do it sort of lightly so it's not too excessive. There we go. Now in the movies, if you have a look at this picture, her eyes are like brown. But I have seen pictures where her eyes are blue, but we will do them brown because that seems to be the colour that they're wanting them to be. That's orange. I think this one's like brown. Coffee. That looks like a brown. So we'll just do them brown. Try and leave the center part dark because that way it will show the light in her eyes. And for the gold, I don't think I have a gold in this kit, but I do have some other sort of orange and yellow colors. I think I could probably make a gold color. So if we go for sort of the area on the side here where it's sort of darker to be yellow, and then I'm going to do the center part a bit more lighter. That gives you a kind of a gold look. Her chest piece is also that kind of gold look, so I was going to go for maybe along the edge here, the darker colour. Like that. Then we'll get this nice bright yellow. Some red, but the red is kind of shiny, so I was thinking like a red and maybe like a bit of a darker red for the extra kind of side part. So this is garnet. It's like a dark brown kind of red, which I'm just going to do there. It's a little bit missing there. I don't quite colour that right to the edge. But that gives you that kind of yellow-red difference. Might use a little bit of this garnet just to colour her lips in a little bit more here. It's a bit of a shading. Now, her armbands for this one, I'm going to probably go for them being gold. If we have a look in the back, they're silver. As you can see, this picture, this picture, this picture, this picture, they're silver. So, them being gold in the movie is a little bit strange, but I assume it's some sort of artistic license they're going for. So let's just do them gold like the movie. Star earrings. She doesn't have earrings in the movie. Let's just do them yellow. I'll just do them in the dark yellow because they're under her hair. There we go. Now her lasso of truth in the movie is kind of like yellow, I guess, gold. And in every single picture it's gold. So let's do it gold. Like that. And that gives it that kind of glow. Once you get all those bits down, we're going to do the hair. In the movie, her hair is brown. But there you go. That's her beautiful brown hair all everywhere. Now, to do her skin tone is going to be difficult because although I have a skin tone, that's this. Apparently this colour of skin. It's not a very accurate skin colour. So I'm going to use this darker orange. And I want to kind of very palely outline her skin. Like that. And take the skin tone. And try and leave areas white. Thinking like that, like kind of just a touch. And then if I get this sort of dark orange, we will do her hands. So let's do our other arm. I'm kind of doing sections and I always recommend that you do that. Don't kind of try and do the entire thing in one go. Work in small sections, especially when you're doing something that's a bit difficult. Like doing the skin tone is a little bit hard. Hand's quite close to you, so it's quite light, and that hand's really far away, so it'd be a lot darker. So we're going to do the same bit here where the edge of her armband is, a little bit in where the hair is, so that it's showing the shadow of the hair across the skin. There, and that gets you the kind of far away arm. The hardest part I think I'm going to have is this chest part, because it's difficult because this part is much closer and this part's really far away. So you'd probably start off darker. You're also going to understand where the light's coming from. So I think in this picture the light's coming across from this side. So that way. So her face is lit. and then say her arm at the back is not going to be as lit because her hair is shadowing it, and her legs are not as lit because they're further away. So the part that I would do on this edge is going to be very pale because this is where the light is hitting her. So I'm trying to follow the way the shadow would be going, so I'm adding some darkness to the side where the shadow would be, and then get the lighter colour and we'll just use that as a blending kind of tool. Like so, and that kind of gives you the shading of her skin so it's not ridiculously bright. Now her face is going to be the hard part because human faces are always hard. I'm going to be very, very light-handed on her face with this orange because otherwise it's going to look a bit Jersey Shore and we don't want that. So you add a little bit of colour and then same here. And all you're really doing is extending out that colour you added with this lighter creamy colour. See, that's pretty good. I think that's quite nice. Like, you probably don't need to go any darker than that. You end up with kind of it being quite a light, pretty picture. And there's a lot of it is being light-handed. So that's pretty much how you would do Wonder Woman. You'd end up with it being quite light and pretty. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. Have a sunshiny day. Bye!